Good evening, good night. I can barely see the followers. I don't know what's worse, Instagram or YouTube, because they don't even show you. Instagram doesn't even show your followers. Anyway, good night, good evening. Let me turn up the brightness. Skin did, so there we go. Turn up the brightness. A lot of people have probably noticed by now that I've been coming online speaking about a very, I don't know if it's a controversial topic or not. I guess it might be controversial to some. It might be entertainment to other people, and it's very real life to others, to people who are going through it, which is gang stalking, which is something I have come to find out happens everywhere. When you're going through it, you think it's crazy and you think you're the only one going through it, and then I got online too late. Had I gotten online earlier and had I hashtag gang stalking on YouTube, I would have been much further along, but I had to figure out everything on my own. It is probably the toughest thing that I have ever encountered in my life, and it's crazy because I don't think that it will be the last or the most difficult thing that I will ever encounter. And I come by and I tell people about what's going on in the world around them. A lot of people are familiar with the idea of gang stalking, and I think a lot of people know that it's happening, but a lot of people don't understand the entire thing. And of course, they're not going to tell you the entire thing, because if you understood it, if you understood what you were participating in, and if you understood that it could happen to you at any moment, I think maybe there are people that do understand that it could happen to them at any moment. But I mean, I think if people understood exactly what kind of death trap that they're in, they probably wouldn't be so eager to be involved. And they probably take things it's not as exciting. And you start realizing, hopefully people realize, like, whatever you make from doing this is fool's gold, and it's not gonna last. I do want to start off with a tip of the day. I don't do it every day, but today, because I noticed something today. So the tip of the day today, and this is more specifically to sort of people who have something to do with the drug trade, or maybe drug mules, or people that are being gang stalked and are being recruited like I am or was. When you look at your social media for your business or personal account and you start seeing a whole bunch of Latino followers from fake pages, that is your red flag. That's your red flag. That's the beginning. When that means you're active. That's what I think. That means you're active. They're probably gonna lay low for a bit. After they start following you, they're going to boost your following with fake followers. They're gonna like your posts. They're gonna watch your stories from fake accounts, etc. But they're all Latin followers. So it's very easy to distinguish Spanish and I would say Portuguese names on an account. They're obviously very fake accounts. The follower accounts don't make sense. So maybe 69 people follow them, but they're following 2,500 people. Things like that. Like, it's very obvious what a fake page looks like. I think everybody can determine what that looks like. So be aware when you get an influx of Latin American followers. Just take a look around, around at your surroundings. Now, to follow up to that, the energy that you will feel is that you'll all of a sudden be surrounded as well in your business, especially if it's a new business and you have what looks like a budding career coming. So they always want to catch people right before people blow up, because that's just what it is. I've tried to explain this in so many ways, but it is what it is. They always try to catch people right before people blow up. Once you see you start getting a lot of Latino business, or a lot of just weird business, weird type customers. Once that starts happening, you're going to have experiences where people are nice and nasty, is what I call them. They are nice one minute and nasty the next, and they gaslight you. And so they're preparing you for the abusive behavior that you're going to face. Hey YouTube, check out Can Boutique for super trendy dresses and genuine furs on clearance as low as 70% off. Prices starting as low as $27 Canadian. Visit www.shopcan.com. Behavior that you're going to face. And if you are so unlucky as to be in this system with them, you're going to face this nice and nasty behavior the entire time, and you're going to be left with nothing but bad memories with these people. They are very abusive in nature, and they encourage it. They encourage that behavior from people because it's meant to be abusive to you. It's not meant to be a fun experience. It's meant for you to always feel like there's a hierarchy, and there are people whose behinds you're supposed to be kissing, and you're supposed to be going out of your way to fit in with them, and all that stuff that I don't do personally. Stuff that doesn't work for me. I just don't do that kind of thing. It's just not in my genetic makeup. I don't feel like I have to. And I most certainly do not want to fit in. Because, well, I have my personal reasons. I don't care about fitting in at all with anyone. If people care to fit in with me, no one has to fit in with me. No one has to be anything special for me to like them. I'm very chill that way, but I don't want anyone to feel like I need to kiss their behind to be in their little fan club. These people have nothing I want. I've talked about before the fact that it's a Ponzi scheme. It's smoke and mirrors. The real money comes from moving drugs, and that is that on that. Any sort of business advantages that you're promised, or getting homes or anything like that, there's a lot of favoritism there. So you can be there for forever and probably never get what you're promised. None of it is real. The followers are not real. That means you're not building a real business. You don't have real followers. You don't have brand loyalists. It's fake. People are going to buy from you by force when they're told to, because they're ready to, again, put up the smoke and mirrors and bring you in. And then people are going to stop doing business with you immediately as they're told to stop doing business with you again. And any business from the outside, they try to block it, they try to stop it, they try to get in your way any way that they can, so that you're unable to take care of yourself. So that anytime you feel like you're going to walk away, they're going to pull the rug from under you, they're going to pull back the curtains, and you're going to see the monsters back there. Or at least they thought they were monsters. To somebody, they're monsters. To people who don't pray, then I can see why these people would be considered monsters. I've seen worse. So that is the tip of the day. Please watch out, okay? Influx of followers where you're doing the same thing and it doesn't make sense. I've seen people go from 5,000 followers to 16,000 followers virtually overnight. And all that's doing is slowing down your engagement, blocking you from your real customers, blocking people from actually seeing, and then the fake customers come in, and the fake people who are going to hold up your business for a bit are going to come in, and they're going to pretend like they built you. While you're doing the hard work, while you're innovating, while you're building, while you're growing a brand, or think you are, they're going to be there blocking you. And you're going to have a lot of followers to remove by the time you figure out, just how bad this is. But they start on you, and the ratios look like that. 5,000 to 16,000, so 11,000 fake followers. All night long, you're getting followers, and they're deleting notifications. It's a lot of manipulation going on. And you can take it from me because I've been there, done that, and I'm still here. Let me go into kind of what I wanted to talk about. So, gang stalking stories are trippy and terrifying. The world of gang stalking in general, it's set up to make you think you're losing your mind. I'm telling you, they go far to paint illusions. It's crazy. But there's a formula. There's a formula that everybody goes through. They use the same rumors over and over and over again. So I'm navigating the gang stalking world on YouTube. I'm looking around, I'm poking my nose around, right? And I come across this lady's page, and this lady is basically saying like this, everybody says the same things, everybody has the same stories, exact same stories. It's wild. So one of the things this lady's saying, she's addressing rumors. So I guess, you know, she knows the name of the guy who's the handler that they sent in to kind of take care of her, you know, kind of steer her in whatever direction that they want to. The chief abuser, I'll say. This is a man who comes in. They target women and children a lot, always reaching out to people on dating sites and whatnot. So anyway, she's targeted, and she's a fairly educated woman, right? They rendered this woman homeless, broke, everything. So she's in a shelter. She just got kicked out of the shelter. All kinds of things have happened. She's fallen completely. And one of the things that she was saying is she was clearing up rumors about herself online. And one of the rumors she's clearing up is telling people that she doesn't have HIV, and telling people that she's not a witch, and all of these things. And I'm like, oh my God. They say the same things about people over and over and over again. Do you know what kind of nasty rumor it is to say that someone has HIV? That's terrible. And there was another thing that she was going through. She was saying that she had to clear up the fact that she didn't give this man STDs, that he gave her STDs. It's really ridiculous. It's crazy. Now, in my time being gang stalked, a lot of people came towards me and around me. But I'm really a difficult person to get close to. And anybody who's known me for a long time knows that, like, you don't really know me. Nothing personal. It's just like, I'm not a person who invites people to my house, who like sits and has deep conversations and shares secrets and what. Like, I'm naturally not that person. So people who do know me, who have been around me for a while, they just know, like, they know of me more than anything. But like, to truly know me is like something else. And it's crazy because those were the kind of things that I would have probably had to deal with or contend with had I agreed to date any of these narcissistic abusers, because that's what they are. They're abusive. You know how Andrew Tate, as any normal woman cannot sit and listen to an Andrew Tate podcast unless you're one of those women who's like really desperate for male attention, because he'll trigger you with the stupidity that he's saying. But he's a pimp. This is the way that these people, they trigger you on purpose. They want your reaction. They feed off of that nonsense. They're narcissists. So he'll say stupid crap that whether he believes it or not doesn't matter. He knows that it's nonsense, and he knows that it's some goddamn audacity too. But that's how they are. They're abusive. They're narcissists, and you know, they're not too bright. Like, you look at Andrew Tate, he's not like a scholar. He's not like, this is not someone you would really go to for advice unless you're a criminal. It's like, it's those kind of entities, and it's like they all have this like immature sort of streak to them. They're in their lower selves. And they're very immature. They haven't grown up. And this is why, you know, for me, I meet a man like the guy who's trying to be my handler, who his IQ is only a fraction of mine. I don't know who would have been handling who, because between the two of us, I'm the man in the situation and I'm the adult. This is a child. It's a child. You know, when you have to tell your children things over and over and over again, like, don't do this, this is gonna happen, and then it happens, and they get their hand burnt and they still touch the stove, and they get their hand burnt again, and you find them on the ladder going towards the stove, and you're like, hey, don't. Like, that is exactly the personality. Now me, I hate repeating myself, so as a parent, I'm gonna let you touch the stove, because you need to tire yourself out. It's like you're not getting it. Now, thankfully, I don't have kids that behave like that. I have amazing children, but I don't repeat myself to men. When I meet men and I sniff them out, that's it. That's all for you today, tomorrow, whenever. There are men within a first, second, third conversation, and so it doesn't even get to second. Once I hear something stupid, we're done. We're done. There's nothing more to talk about. And whatever type of tantrum you throw is between you, God, and your energy levels. Because it's your energy. It's not mine. I don't have to put up with it. But it's like, it's so crazy just to see the fact that when people get gang stalked, they do the same thing, and the slander is so crazy. I think when you start talking about things like that, it's really nuts, especially considering the fact that when my phone is hacked, I see things on my phone that don't make sense. Like, you know, for example, I just bought something online, and Instagram is already showing me ads for the same stuff that I was looking for online on one app, not even Google, on one app. So when I see HIV medications on my phone, when I see pregnancy surrogacy, when I see, I could tell someone's looking for a car. I could tell someone has disabilities that have been denied. I could tell someone's going through a divorce. I could see when it's a Muslim person. I see gay porn ads on the Explore page. I see all kinds of things. But that's what happens when somebody's trying to share your social media with you. If they even, and it only takes one time, if they even smell or say something, these are the things that are going to come up. So this is the kind of stuff that's been happening on my devices. And I can see, you know, it's really crazy, like I said, because it's almost like the things that people were devising for me seems like the things that they're going through. It really looks like HIV medication, and I didn't know it was HIV medication. I saw it twice, and I Googled it, and it was like antiviral autoimmune deficiency, whatever, and I was like, whoa. So it's crazy, it's salacious, it's nasty, because John's actually a married man, so I don't know why I would be seeing gay porn on my phone, but it's like, this is the kind of life that people live while they're talking bad about other people, while they're gossiping about other people. This is the kind of lifestyle that they live. It's humiliating. And then they don't want it to come out, but they were talking about you spreading absolute lies for the longest time. You put me on CNN and this is the first thing I'm going to talk about, because it's disgusting. Anyway, you know, another thing too that I wanted to mention, this whole thing of like, you know, I put my spiritual beliefs out there, and I know somebody's gonna come up with the idea to tie what happened to me with my spiritual beliefs. And we are going to have to sit there and talk about why it's acceptable to talk about the Easter Bunny, Santa, and Jesus rising from a cross, and what is different from my beliefs. We're going to have to contrast and compare. And then it's going to lead to spiritual persecution, discrimination, and all kinds of Asians. I know somebody's trying that and they're adding that to some sort of defense. I'm not them. We know now that I'm not them. But either way, it's okay, because, you know, everybody has their opinion and everybody can say whatever they want. However, it's crazy to me. You know, for me, when I think about people who are satanic, it's not the people like, so see, there's this thing about, let's say, people who do certain things, you know, dark arts and stuff like that. People do that, most people, in the privacy of their home. They are just normal people. Priests, pastors, doctors, dentists, lawyers, whatever. Police officers, who knows, right? They present very normally. People who come outside and they wear like the weird clothes and the pointy hats and like they want to be emo and like all that extra stuff, and they wear the skulls and whatever, that's an aesthetic. those people probably are not very good or very learned or very trained in whatever they're doing. And people need to know that. When you see these pages online and you're seeing like tarot readers and this and this and that, those are not the people that you need to worry about. People that you need to worry about look normal. They run it like a business, the same way people run any other business. They look like me. They look like you. Like, they're not putting that on Front Street. Sometimes, you know, when people just get into something or they get excited or maybe they learn a thing or two, they use the aesthetic to make people afraid of them or to feel like powerful or whatever the case is, right? Those are nothing. That's like nothing to worry about. That's like Harry Potter. That's like, you know, it's just an aesthetic. So then you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, that's the devil worshiper. Not really. Not really. That person's probably scared. If that person probably seen real stuff, they'd be scared. It's people like John Ferreira that are actually the people that you, and not even John Ferreira. John Ferreira really is not the type of person that you really need to worry about. Like, I mean, other people worried about him. The thing is, he puts a bunch of different things together. So it becomes a 360 sort of threat. So there's the hacking, there's the story, there's the hacking, there's the stalking, there's the taking the pictures, and then he combines that with, you know, little things like sending anxiety attacks and projecting feelings onto you, and then you get scared and you get panicked. And over time, with the prolonged abuse and the narcissistic abuse and you know, not having the self-control to go through it with grace, it does eat away at you at a certain point. Not having the proper information to know why it's happening or how to get through it, etc., etc., it'll gnaw at you. But that's nothing to worry about, to be honest with you. People like John Ferreira are not the kind of, like, that's not the type of black magic, obia, spell work, whatever, to be worried about. It's the people they pay that you gotta worry about. The little old people in Nigeria, the people all over the place that are sitting somewhere in a house that just have your picture, that don't care. They see US money or Canadian money, they don't ask any questions. And they feel like a celebrity when they get a phone call from overseas and somebody's coming to them and paying them money saying, I need you to do this to this person, I need you to do that. Those are the real people you're supposed to be scared of. Like, if you're not born Canadian, well, maybe born Canadians, they have their own thing too, but you know me, I'm from the West Indies. We know real threats. We know real witch doctors. We know people that could walk on their hands. Like, we know. He wasn't nothing and he still is nothing to whatever. He just wanted to feel important because he felt embarrassed, you know, and now everybody knows, like, this person really didn't know what they were doing at all. The bulk of the work, the heavy stuff came from other places, and they were putting multiple people on me at the same time in order to achieve their goal, which still didn't get achieved, which is bad news. People usually don't do stuff like this because they're scared of how these things come back. Because these things don't come back and knock at your door. They take the side of the house out. There's no wall beside your bed. That's how they come back. They don't come back easy. And it'll take out whoever's laying in the bed at the time. You know, it's not fun stuff. You know, I would advocate against getting involved in that stuff without proper rank, a proper position, you know, playing these kind of silly games that people play, and they play it because people don't know where it's coming from. But people don't realize you don't need to know where anything's coming from. I don't need the name of anybody. I don't need to know anybody to ask God to take this off of me, to avenge me, to bring me peace. I don't. Why do I need to specifically know, you know, who it is? There's no point to that. You just got to protect yourself and your family. And, you know, for anyone watching, my YouTube, I have a survival guide. Go check that out. I think I link it in the message box of every single video that I put up. And then I also have it in the information box on my YouTube channel, talking about, yeah, just giving when you go onto the actual YouTube channel on the information page, I have it there as well. I always encourage people, like, take a look at my survival guide for sure. I might make an updated version at some point, but you definitely want to take a look at the survival guide, because it'll help you just ward off a lot of unwelcomed energy and a lot of energy that will, it's just unnecessary, catching unnecessary colds and headaches and anxiety attacks and all that. You got to clean out your home, because if you let that stuff build up, you will be in a panic. And not just cleaning up your home, but also just protecting yourself in multiple different ways. I'm going to go into that later on in my video as well. The other thing during this whole process that I have learned, you know, when celebrities say, like, I remember Cat Williams said that he turned down so many opportunities. I can't remember how many $1 million deals he said that he turned down. And believe me, I totally get it, because I have had to turn down things all the time when I just know that these things are just not for me. So, you know, originally there were two groups. There was one group, which was whoever contracted John Ferreira, and John Ferreira were united in partnership to get me to come down. And then now the two groups have separated. So they're both trying to get me into situations, and one has more reach and more pull than the other. You know, but you can tell with both of them, like, who's who and what's what and whatever. So, you know, I can see why. You know what, if anybody's curious, you should watch, like, Hollywood interviews, and you should listen to things that people say. Like the comedian, what's her name? Monique. I can see why she got blackballed, because Monique was talking about how she was at a show and some guy came in with glasses in a suit, sat in the front row, and pulled down his glasses, and there was nothing there, like nothing behind the glasses. And she was like freaked out. And I'm sure they see so much things, like so much in Hollywood. It's probably crazy, I think. And she's a Hollywood star, and she's talking about that, and she's been blackballed and rendered almost bankrupt. You know, Cat Williams obviously just started talking about that this year. There's a lot of corruption going on. It's crazy. It's insane. And I don't think everybody is equipped. I think a lot of people are not even equipped to go through it. And that's why a lot of people fall through the cracks, through the wayside. But, you know, the whole point of my YouTube channel is to tell people how to get through these kind of things. That's the point. And first things first, you got to have a relationship with God, a real relationship. Not, you know, the kind of flighty nonsense that people are doing right now. Like, you have to have a real relationship. Like, a lot of people say they're Christians, and they have a lot of Christians, they have Muslims, they have every denomination. And I think that's why they call people that they can't kill witches, because it backfires back onto them with certain people. And those are people that really have a relationship with God, whether people want to believe that or not. But yeah, as it stands, I get weird stuff all the time. Weird offers, weird sort of things. And it's like, you can just always tell, you can always sniff it out. You just always know. You just always know. Even right now, it's like, sometimes my videos just are very dark for whatever reason. There's always some sort of manipulation. Let me try to figure it out, because I don't like when my videos are dark. So it's like, there's one who is at home and wants to block my videos, block my engagement, make sure my videos don't look good. Like, it really bothers him if I look good on camera. I think John is a transvestite at heart, because he really envies all kinds of things that shouldn't make a man envy a woman. He envies people's looks, people's hair. He just has very dark whore energy, like prostitute energy. Like, there's nothing masculine about him. Even the gossiping, for you to be good at gossiping, you definitely have to be very effeminate. And it's not even effeminate in a normal way. It's like witchy energy. It's like childish as well. It's like the lowest form of a woman. You know, I wouldn't even call it a woman. I don't know what to call it. But like for a man, he envies all kinds of things. It's like imagine Bruce Jenner watching the Kardashian women get dressed and being envious. Like that's the kind of energy that I get from him. Because I couldn't see why. You know, if a normal man is upset at a woman, right? Like a normal man might be infuriated. When I say normal, I mean straight. And even if not straight, but like a man might be infuriated, but when you start to want to attack someone's womb, their looks, their hair, their skin, like things like that, it's just how a woman would think. That's how a girl would think. Like, oh, she's pretty, let me like try to slash her face, or let me do this, or let me do that. A normal man wouldn't really think about that. A man would be like, I don't know. But I'm around enough straight men to know that this is not a straight person. For sure. He's not straight. And he's probably a cross-dresser. He's probably transvestite. He probably wants to be a woman. He probably cross-dresses. He enjoys being dominated by other men, even though he's supposed to be a man himself. I don't care what anybody tells me. I stand by that. I know what I smell. It's weird. To try to make the video dark, or like take off the filter, or like manipulate the video and stuff like that. It's like you're supposed to be focusing on enjoying your last days on earth, or you're supposed to be enjoying your last days of being free or figuring yourself out, because this is too much of an uphill battle. Everybody knows it, which is why the Brazilians, the Colombians, whoever they are, have tried to take over the job themselves. Who knows? It's childish behavior, but it's like that's childish behavior that actually, it's like sometimes people don't know what their Achilles heel is. It's the childishness. Even if you're smart, when you mix it with childishness and you mix it with immaturity, you will always lose, because you don't even know how to be mature. You don't even know how to take things seriously. It's like giving a bunch of money to a child. What do you expect is going to happen? They're going to buy like 1 million chocolate bars, and they're going to be like, I have more chocolate bars than you. But it's like the other adults in the room are like, yeah, anyways, let me go pay my mortgage, you know? And then it's like, how much money has flowed through your hands for you to have nothing? This is the kind of nonsense you're going to deal with gang stalkers. It's weird energy, and it can be very exhausting, because it's like something happened to someone at a young age that makes them crave this kind of attention, whether it's good or bad. But anyways, I digress. Let me move to the last point that I have to make, because I didn't want this to be too long tonight. Recognizing red flags is something that people need to do a better job at. A lot of people do not see red flags in themselves or in others. So I was actually watching a YouTube video before I knew it was time for me to come online. And I was watching this girl talk, and I was realizing like how many red flags, like this girl is like a walking red flag, essentially. So she was talking about like her dating life, and she kept talking a lot about the truth being very important. But really, it wasn't really the truth that was important to her. It's that she knows she overshares, and she masks that by saying it's the truth. Then she was talking about like, she presents as a very overtly sexual, a lot of flirtatious energy. Her energy is very open. you know, you can see that she has people pleasing tendencies. She's triggered easily. She's also hostile at the same time. It's like a weird batch. But she knows these things about herself. So like when she gets a drink and she drinks a little too much, she recognizes it instantly when someone comments about it, and the second time she takes a sip. So it's like people will know what their little things are, but it's like they try to work with it, I guess, as much as they can. Now, when you take that whole scenario, the same way I watch the video and I observe it like that, think about yourself when a gang stalker comes around and they're having a conversation with you. This person is reading your energy in the same way because they've come to fish for information, what type of person you are, if you have strong boundaries, you know what's important to you, etc., etc., etc. They read you in the same way. So you're spilling information, you're spewing information whether or not you know you are or not. So it's really important for you to, well, I don't know at this point what the point of that is, because I guess this would only be important for or relevant to people who are in the beginning of whatever gang stalking journey that they're in. These would be the people that would really want to know that and maybe be a little bit more, what would I say? Discerning, or a little bit more guarded, or a little bit more, yeah, I guess guarded with information about themselves, because these people do come around to get to know you, what you like, your dislikes, you know, just whatever they could figure out. Whatever they could figure out to get under your skin, you know, what kind of traumas have happened to you. So they come and they tell you fake things that have happened to them that really they don't care one way or the other, right? Because no normal person would hear, oh, I was gang raped when I was 16, and then turn around and throw that in your face. But if you say that to a gang stalker, you'll be on the phone with them one day and they'll be like, oh, like gang rape, huh? And you'll have to be like, whoa. That's the way that they operate. They look for anything that they think could possibly be embarrassing to you or a trigger in some way. And then they want to like keep tapping on that.
Hey YouTube, check out Can Boutique for super trendy dresses and genuine furs on clearance as low as 70% off. Prices starting as low as $27 Canadian. Visit www.shopcan.com.
Like keep tapping on that. And so right now it's not fun for people like John Ferreira, where I don't care how much he gets pissed off about the lives and the videos. I don't care what he does with the engagement. I keep posting his picture and I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyway. So it's very apparent to anybody that's looking that he has no control, I have no fear, and I don't care. So it's like knowing the thing that pisses this person off is the thing that I'm going to continue tapping on every day. That's narcissistic abuse. That's what that's like. That's how it works. But sometimes people need to have a dose of their own medicine to see what they do to other people, how it feels living that life. Not fun. Not fun. Not fun at all. I'm going to keep the video short tonight. I have tons of videos. I strongly suggest if anybody's watching my YouTube to go back and take a look at old videos that I've made and like get a little idea of, you know, what I talk about. My videos are pretty well rounded. I'm not really a gang stalking survivor who's gonna like fear monger and like tell you like, oh my god, like blah blah blah, this happened, this is so scary. Because to be honest, I'm not scared, and I advocate that other people not be scared too. If they could have killed me, they would have already. And they can't. They just have to like leave me alone. I'm sure they've tried to like do things and whatnot. It just does not work that way. When you actually pray and God actually answers your prayers, things just don't work that way. You're not just getting out of here because somebody says that you're getting out of here. It's just not how it works. Anyway, to wrap this video up, I am going to pull a spirit card. 1 second, that just fell. 2 of them just fell. I love these cards. I tell people about them all the time. Go buy them. They're called Spirit Messages Oracle cards. I love them. And they're my loudest cards. Like, these cards fly out. Anyway, so tonight, 2 cards. These speak to me a lot, and sometimes I feel like it's for me more than anything. Focus your mindset on what you can control instead of what you can't. The world is your oyster. Elevate your thought pattern so that you can attract abundance into your life. You are what you believe. I have been gang stalked, and in the middle of that, I have sold property. I have rebranded my business. I've gone out to BravoCon. There's been a lot of manipulation. There's been a lot of blockages in that. All gang stalkers could do is try to bully you or force you to do something that you don't want to do. They can't control you. You keep pushing. You keep doing what you want to do. There are things that you need to do that would have been a push in the best of circumstances. In the best of times, it would have been a push. You know, like, you want to go ahead and build something, it's going to take push. You want to go ahead and restart something after they've pulled back their fake support. It would have taken a push. It's like you having a brand new business. It's going to take pushing. It's going to take work. It's going to take diligence. It's going to take discipline, etc., etc. And you know for a fact that when you start a business, you can't be expecting $1 million. But you know, this is what happens is when you're an existing business owner who's made so much money, watching yourself start from scratch again is frustrating. It is. And I'm not just saying that for me, that's for everybody. It's frustrating, but it is what needs to happen. And with the information that you know, and with what you know about these people, now you can rebuild better, and you can rebuild without involving them, without them putting their hand in your pot all the time. They constantly try to put their hand in my business, send me influencers. And when they can't control the influencers that I work with, they look for the people that I'm already existingly working with, and they try to present as if these people are under their control, or to get those people under their control. So it's almost like they can control you through that person, or that person starts being frustrating to you, and then that person wants to pull, and they want to do like a cat and mouse. The difference with me, you pull out from me, you're dead. You're gone. You're not coming back. So you can't play cat and mouse with me. If you happen to get in, you might want to stay in. If you're that lucky, nobody is. Nobody is. But anyway, next card. Be true to yourself in all ways. Not everyone will get you. They can only understand you from their level of perception, and that's on them. No matter what people say, don't ever doubt your worth or the beauty you hold within. Stand tall in your power. And this is so important when you're being gang stalked and when people are trying to make you think that something is wrong with you. They're only doing that so that they can mentally abuse you and manipulate you. Nothing's wrong with you. In fact, they probably envy you. They always take people that they see have value, try to give them low self-esteem, belittle them, make them think that they can't survive on their own, make them think that they need them. And really, they're pieces of shit that couldn't make anything happen on their own. They really can't. If they could have made things happen on their own, they wouldn't need to surround people who are worth something. And I see them doing this to people all the time. People who have a real talent and a real gift, I see them doing this to these people where they come in and they're gonna use these people's talents and gifts, and they're going to try to make it seem like they're the ones who built someone with talent, and their only talent is being abusive. So be careful out there. The new thing that I'm going to adopt is, I need to tell you guys about crystals. And I said before that I was going to do a video about crystals, and I realized that I cannot do one video about crystals. Crystals, it has to be incorporated in the daily videos that I do. Now, if you want to buy into crystals, that's fine. However, I've gone through this entire thing. I've never gotten sick. My energy levels have always been pretty balanced. Some days better than others. Of course, you're under heavy spell work, and some stuff I've had to innovate. I've had to learn new things, etc., etc. But crystals have helped me a lot. And I had 2 cards that I pulled today that I think are going to be helpful. So I'll read them. The first one is selenite, and it's considered a crystal for connecting to the higher realms. And this is what selenite looks like, and that is the spelling of selenite. So, selenite it's like a crystal that forms from salt. I consider it a healing crystal. You can't put it in water. You don't need to cleanse it at all. You can charge it, like people will charge these under the moonlight. You can smoke it out, but it's the one crystal that doesn't need that, because what happens is it absorbs energy and then it disintegrates. It's like salt. It's a salt-based crystal, so it's a crystal of protection and of healing. It's very pure. So the longer you use your selenite, the selenite itself will break down over time. Selenite anchors the light body into the earth vibration and downloads divine light into the physical body. It creates a safe, peaceful space that does not allow outside influences to penetrate. The stone detaches entities from the aura and prevents anything external from influencing the mind. It reaches into other lives or the future and checks progress made with the current life plan, pinpointing lessons and issues being worked upon. I'm going to touch on that. Meditating with this crystal brings about a conscious understanding of what has been occurring at the subconscious level and shows how it can be best resolved. On your body, it's good for healing spinal column, joints, breasts, nervous system, puberty, and menopause. And mentally, it brings clarity, clears confusion, facilitates seeing the bigger picture. It comes in pure white, orange, blue, brown, green, translucent with fine ribbing, or coarser ribbing, fishtail or pearl-like desert rose. I'm going to show you what my selenite looks like. For an extremely high vibrational stone, it's pretty cheap. Other crystals of this size, this is the size of my selenite, and you can see, so my selenite has disintegrated quite a bit over time. All of this is disintegration. This is not how I purchased it, and I'll often have crystals just charging on the selenite. This is not a wand, this is a tower, a selenite tower. Sometimes I meditate with it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes, we use it for cleaning energies off of us when, if you're feeling pain, for example, period pain and stuff like that. It does take a while to activate. It's not instant like some other stones. There are other stones that you can use in healing that are instant. Selenite is not instant. You're going to have to sit with it for a while. If you don't have selenite and you're not sure where to get it yet, the other thing you could do is you can put salt, coarse salt, in some sort of a bag. And you don't want to put it in like saran wrap or like a Ziploc or something. You need something breathable that can touch your skin, and you can put salt on your skin, like, in a bra, or just touch it, but it needs to touch your physical skin wherever the pain is. You could do that, and that can help you. If you're suffering with any sort of pain. So this is very effective stuff. However, I don't force people to believe in whatever I believe in. Nobody believes in anything these days. And a lot of things are not believe or not believe. They either are or they're not. And I think a lot of people are going to come to that conclusion. Hopefully, for the people that know what I've survived, what I've gone through, and what other people have gone through. And for the fact that I've come out, in one piece, hopefully that should speak for itself. So that is selenite. Everybody wants selenite. You need selenite. If you start collecting crystals, selenite is a base crystal to have. It is like the first crystal that you should get. You're not buying crystals because they're pretty. You're getting crystals that you need specifically for specific things that you're doing. Oh, and before I move on, so there was one other thing. It said here, it reaches into other lives or the future and checks progress made with the current life plan, pinpointing lessons and issues being worked on. Okay, so this is a bit of more on the esoteric side. How do I put this? Everything you're learning today grants you entry into tomorrow. If you do not learn it today, you cannot be granted passage into the next phase of your life. You have to go back and repeat the cycle and start it again. When you restart the cycle, the new cycle that starts, which is represented by the world card, and I'm pretty sure I put that down here in the cards I just pulled. But anyway, when you open the new cycle, No, it's not here. Yep, this is it right here. The World card. This represents a new journey beginning. Closing of an old cycle, new cycle beginning. Once you enter the new cycle, it doesn't start the same way as it did before. It starts like triple times hard. It starts very rough as you repeat that cycle again. And you're going to keep repeating the cycles until you come to the grand boss. When you get to the grand boss, if you don't learn, that's it. It's done. Because you don't get infinite chances to repeat cycles. Some things you continue doing long enough and you don't get to move forward. And that's whether in this lifetime or the next. And that's something that I know a lot of people don't believe in, that kind of stuff. If you're a Christian, then you should understand it, because you understand new life in God, right? This is how it works. So I've talked about in other videos the lessons that I learned, just in years prior. All those lessons were lessons that I needed to learn in order to get through this. That is the purpose of learning lessons, so that you can continue getting through new assignments. It's that simple. I had to learn from a very young age how to be alone. I had to learn how to check for red flags, how to read people's energy before I let them into my energy. I had to learn every single thing that I needed to get through this today. I had to not just learn it, I had to ace it. It's not like, you just barely learn it and 50-50 you might repeat it again. And no. The universe needs to make sure that you 100% got the point. So, for example, learning how to be by yourself, that's a lesson that you're going to learn by people consistently being just POSs to you your entire life. That's how you learn that lesson. But if you don't learn that lesson, how can you get here where you're going to be gang stalked and survived? Because you're going to have to learn how to be alone to get through gang stalking. And be alone and thrive, not be alone and cry. Not be alone and losing your mind. When you don't learn these lessons, moving you forward to the next step is only going to be suicide. So you have to continue learning it, and it has to be brutal for you to learn it, because some people only learn through brute force. John Ferreira is definitely one of those people. The next one I thought it might be important is jade. Everybody knows about jade. Jade is huge in Asian culture. And this is a crystal for purification and serenity. It's a very high vibrational crystal, and it's to do with health and well-being. It's a soapy stone found in two forms, jadeite and nephrite. Jade is a cleansing crystal, assisting the body's filtration and elimination organs and supporting the immune system. It has long been believed that jade detoxifies the kidneys and balances bodily fluids and the ratio of water to salt and acid to alkaline. Crystal healers use jade to rebind the cellular and skeletal systems. This crystal is traditionally used to assist fertility and childbirth. Mentally, it encourages self-sufficiency, heals trauma, and past grief. Spiritually, it promotes peace, inspires insightful dreams. It'll come in blue, green, lavender, red, orange, brown, cream, and white. I have never seen white jade. I've never seen red, orange jade. I've only ever seen blue, green, and a creamy green. Translucent is the jadeite, or creamy is nephrite. So with jade, what I know about it is it balances your chakras. It's supposed to. After you've gone through traumatic things, while you're going through traumatic things, you need to balance out your chakras. If even one chakra is misaligned, it causes mayhem in the entire system. It clogs the system, because what happens is energy is supposed to flow up and down through your chakras. Energy comes from above, it flows through, it must connect, and then it must go back up. It must be consistently flowing. And if you have a blockage somewhere, then the energy doesn't flow. The higher chakras, which already take more discipline to even access, those are easier chakras even to get blocked, like your heart, your throat, your crown, your, you know, your third eye. So you want to balance out your chakras. Now, there's this joke about crystals that they're these stones that are going to fix your life, and that is not true. Although I want it to be. I want to just hold a crystal and have like my third eye open. It doesn't work that way. You're not going to have visions and downloads because you're holding crystals. Things all have to be in balance. Everything in balance, and then it assists with the process. So it's kind of like a protein shake. Drinking protein shakes and not working out, you're going to get fat. But if you work out and you're doing everything in the right proportion, and you're taking the right amount of protein shakes, and you're resting at the right time, and you're giving your muscles time to rebuild, etc., etc., then the protein shakes can do their job. If you're not eating well, if you're not working out, if you're not resting enough, etc., etc., like, it's not going to work. If you already don't meditate, or you have circumstances in your life that are not lending to meditation, if you do not actually have a relationship with the Most High, if there are any imbalances, there is nothing that a crystal is going to do for you. It is maybe you're gonna put toxicity on the crystal, is what I'm guessing would happen, but it's not gonna work. It doesn't work that way. So if you're still living a kind of lifestyle that's just not conducive, like, I'm saying this because I know that there are gonna be people that are gonna be living some type of weird lifestyle, and that are gonna think they're gonna buy crystals and the crystal's gonna change. You can't go get obsidian and then still try to enter people's energies and like break spiritual law and think you're going to be protected. It doesn't work like that. The stones themselves are high vibrational, so like you need to be in a certain vibration for it to even work. You know, I used to in past like not want to share information because I'm like, I don't want to encourage people to think that they can do these kind of things and then they can use these kind of, you know, healing elements and then they'll get away with it or it'll be easier. But I realize like the whole lifestyle is not even conducive to being healed. So it really doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. Like, you have to have like a lifestyle change. You need to be open, and you need to actually be meditating to get a boost with meditation. Now, people that actually meditate and feel they have a blockage or feel they have a need, then the crystal works for them. Otherwise, it's like going to sleep with a crystal under your pillow. You didn't meditate, you don't pray, you don't talk to God, and thinking that what is going to communicate with you? You think downloads are just like some computer program that just like something needs to be communicating with you. You need to know what you're communicating with. It's like picking up a deck of cards and just shuffling it. What are you communicating with? Like, who is passing these messages to you? That's why for me, I don't just listen to any kind of reader. Like, who are you communicating with? Who is giving you these messages? Because then the messages just get crossed and intercepted, and it's like, yes, you're using a divination tool, but you don't even know what you're connecting to. So anyways, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to incorporate the crystals into the spirit cards because I think they're massively important and helpful. When it comes to crystals, for myself, the way I purchase is what calls to me and what I need at the time. Whatever my body feels like we need to resolve. And I think that's how everybody should work with crystals as well, if you do choose to work with crystals. But that being the case, thank you guys very much. You know, if you're on Instagram, my YouTube is God's Way 1019, and if you're on YouTube, feel free to drop a comment. If I don't get back to people right away, it's just I just didn't see it, because YouTube does not always notify me of comments. Like, I'll come and I'll see like 27 comments under a random video and I have no idea, I didn't get one notification. Or sometimes I see 27 comments and I can only see 2 of the comments. I don't see the rest of them, so I have no idea what's going on. But anyways, thank you and have yourself a good night.